Good morning, Facebook friends, parents, teachers, and distinguished guests. I've always wanted to say that. However, the reality was in school that was never happening. Anyway, I just had my moment. So I'm on my way to work, and it's another one of those days where I had an inspiring thought from my past. Possibly trickles into the present. So, anybody out there who's ever gone through a life-changing experience, or I don't know, like you went from a place of darkness to a place of light and you started to become a spiritual seeker of some sorts, you had those moments where they were completely inspirational, that you read something, you learned something, you saw something about yourself, and it was super, super exciting. And you started to want to share it with other people. Now, I'll speak from personal experience that when I was going through the height of that in my life, where I was really coming to new understandings about myself and maybe about others, I needed to let everybody know, whether it was in the form of a text message, email. I mean, I would go to social gatherings and parties. Oh, that's a great idea. Let's walk the dog in the middle of the road. So I would feel, even if I was at a party, I would tell everybody my insights, and I felt like I had to impart this wisdom, whether I thought it was mine or somebody else's. It just didn't matter. And I really thought it was coming from a place of good intention. You know, I wanted to help others, especially the people around me, whether it was my family or my friends. But here's the thing that I started to realize. One is, the more often I did it, the less people listened. I started getting shut out. Although I didn't know it at the time. I was like, oh, they just don't want to hear the truth. They just don't want to hear the truth. Well, I learned a couple of things from this experience. When you're going through a shift, number one, offering it to others without it being solicited is just a turnoff. Nobody wants to be told what to do. The next part of that is everybody's journey is a little bit different. And so just because something enlightens or makes me feel better, it doesn't mean it's going to do the same for you. And importantly, is just because you understand something doesn't mean you've actually put it into practice, which means you can come off like a hypocrite. Now, that's not to say, listen, we're all always in process. What we're talking about is if you haven't actually practiced it yet. You know, I really don't talk about things that I'm not trying to practice, but if you notice, whether it's in my book or here, I'm not saying I've perfected it. What I'm saying is this is a process. And so you don't want to be giving and offering advice to others without them asking for it, number one. And number two, if you're going to say something because someone asked you about it, hopefully you're already in the process of doing it. Now, here's the last part of what I learned from this experience about me offering all this information. I really believed that it was super good intentions. I thought that I was trying to help others, and that was probably a part of it. But a greater part of it was because I was so out of control in a part of my life, I became such a control freak that all I wanted to do was make everything around me work a certain way so I didn't feel like I was drowning emotionally and spiritually. And so when I really boil it down, I wanted you to change so my life was easier. It wasn't just about helping you. There was definitely a control element about it. And there's still a temptation at times that when I'm feeling pain about somebody I love and I see them going through something difficult, I want to offer advice and I want to tell them what to do, not only to alleviate their discomfort, but to alleviate my discomfort of watching them go through whatever it is they're going through. I love that story about the butterfly, where the little boy or girl sees this caterpillar struggling to get out of its cocoon. And so they decide to open up the cocoon prematurely, and out pops this fat little butterfly with barely any wings. And what the child doesn't realize is it is the struggles that the caterpillar goes through pushing against the cocoon that actually spreads the wings. Well, I think that's very much like what it is in life, is my struggles and all the places that it took for me to get to the place to become a spiritual seeker is what helped me learn to fly. So when we try to force our ideas, thoughts, and opinions on somebody else, it's like we're ripping open a cocoon prematurely. Let somebody ask you for that information. And if you realize that people are starting to shut you down, it's not because they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear your truth. they'll hear it when they're ready. And if they want it, they'll ask for it. To conclude, I am not saying that I perfected this. I'm not telling anybody this is what you should or shouldn't do. Oh, here's the other thing. This is what's great about doing videos and Facebook and even writing, is that I don't know who you are right now. So if you're watching this, I have no invested interest in what the outcome is. I'm just sharing my experience, not because I'm trying to control. Certainly I have no control over you, but because this is something that I learned that made my life a little bit better in the process of spiritually changing and growing. Your enlightenment, your excitement, and your learning is for you until it's not. So that's just my thoughts and feelings for today. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I wish you the greatest of days today. Right now it's Saturday morning, super sunny, and I am on my way into the salon. And that's my day for today.